Okay, so we're just going for a short flight, maybe do some practice forced landings, see how rusty we are at those. The master is on so that I can talk to you, and we are ready to do our pre-startup check. So let's reset the stopwatch. Okay, so security, I am secure. The rear seatbelt is secure. My gloves are there. All clear around, pointing in a safe direction. Air prop. Ignition on. Engine running. Start the stopwatch. Radio is on. Over farm traffic. Golf Charlie Mike Papa November. Sorry, Golf Charlie Mike Papa November. Yep, taxiing for checks. Over farm traffic. Right, so let's taxi out to the holding point. Reason for making the radio call is any arriving traffic will be coming in overhead. And this just warns them. So we'll go around here. There's a few aircraft in the area. I don't want to interfere with what they're doing. So we'll come right over here and then we'll turn into wind. The windsock's blowing around a bit, so I'm going to take a rough approximation of into wind. Okay, let's set 3000 RPM for warm-up. And then our pre-flight check is chief taps. So controls, full and free movement. Yeah, I'm happy with that. H, harnesses and helmets. My helmet is secure, my harness is secure. The seatbelt is done up in the rear. I for instruments. The compass is reading 350 degrees. That runway's 34 and that one is 03. So it's slightly out actually. That could just be a... oh no, that's better. It wasn't positioned correctly. Okay, stopwatch is running, accessories are on, so my pilot aware will be working. Rev counter is active, 0 miles per hour on the indicated airspeed. Altimeter set for 40 feet, which gives us a QNH of 1016. The radio is on 129830, which is the local frequency. Transponder to standby. And that's 7,000, so we'll go active now because I always forget. Oil pressure 6 bar, oil temperature coming up. Fuel is sitting at just over 3/4 of a tank, which is about what I would expect. E for engine, well we can't do a mag dead check on this because we only have one switch. So if I switch it off the engine stops, we've already tested that. F for fuel, we said we have over 3/4 of a tank. I know there's 40 litres in, that's alright. The fuel tap is on. T for trim, so we'll set to takeoff trim. When I park it, it is fully slow, so I'm just going to move it to the midpoint, which is about 70 miles an hour. And we are warm enough to drop to tick over. Okay, we're looking good. I can't hear anybody on frequency. So I'm going to taxi for the threshold and we will take off. Over farm traffic, Golf Charlie Mike Papa November taxiing 34. Over farm traffic. There's no point in having runway behind me. Over farm traffic, is anyone on frequency for a radio check?
Yep. Reading you 5, Golf Juliet Tango.
Golf Juliet Tango, reading 5 also, thank you. Okay, line up, there's nobody on final. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, rolling 34. Speed is building, there we go. We now have takeoff speed and we're into the air. Climbing out at 70. We'll just throttle back a little to be kind to the engine. Still climbing at a respectable 1,000 feet a minute. And we'll level off at 800 feet. Which is the circuit height. I have to be careful here because Staverton approach. Staverton is to our right, you won't be able to see it, but the aircraft on ILS approach come through here at about 1,000 feet, so we just have to be slightly careful.
India to Charlie flight. Has anybody got the ATIS for Gloucester?
Gloucester ATIS is 127.480.
127.480, thank you.
Let's start climbing. Let's get a couple of 1,000 feet. We're going to head over broadly towards Bryce. I'm hoping to get a radio check off them. Let's just check the radio for other frequencies. Let's try Gloucester ATIS.
NH 1016 QFE 1012.
Increased bird activity within the aerodrome boundary. Intense gliding activity has been observed in the vicinity of the aerodrome. Noise abatement procedures apply. Upon first contact with Gloucester, read back altimeter setting in use. Departing aircraft, contact tower, frequency 122.905. Arriving aircraft, contact approach, frequency 128.555. Acknowledge receipt of information, X-ray. This is Gloucester, information, X-ray, time 1420, runway use 04, left-hand circuit, surface wind 340, 9 knots, visibility 10 kilometer or more, scattered 3,000 feet, temperature +17, dew point +10, QNH 1016, QFE 1012. Increased bird activity within the aerodrome.
Okay, so we've got QNH of 1016, which is what I set on takeoff. I'm just levelling off at 2,000 feet on QNH. Let's just try and get that accurate and see if we can settle the aircraft down. Rise radar is 124.275. Still climbing sights. I'll just reduce power. 124.275. So I'm going to switch to Bryce. 124.275. Switch that over. And let's turn towards Bryce. So
Bryce, November 122 Delta Romeo for basic service.
November 122 Delta Romeo, Bryce, radar pass message.
November 122 Delta Romeo, Sirius SR22 from Gloucester to Bournemouth. I'm currently 3,000 feet, QNH 1016. And I'm about 10 miles southwest of Gloucester.
November 2 Delta Romeo, Sport 3737, basic service, Bryce, QNH 1015.
3737, QNH 1015 in basic service, 122 Delta Romeo.
right, this is going to be a problem because between me, Bryce is...
Bryce radar, good afternoon, Golf Charlie Echo, Golf India request, so traffic.
Station calling Bryce, radar for zone traffic, visual by zone 119.0.
That's a zone 119.0, Golf, copy this.
Okay, this is going to be a problem because there is a gliding competition between me and Bryce, and I don't want to fly through that.
Golf Romeo to Bravo Zulu, request frequency change. 129.980.
There's an aircraft flying below us.
Thank you very much.
Free call en route today.
4 calls TSK, 3 call en route, thank you very much. Golf, Bravo Zulu.
I'm going to come away from Bryce because I'm just not getting clarity for her. So we'll test the radar, the transponder another time. Right, next radio transmission I'm going to treat as an engine fail. Let's put our nav lights on. There are a lot of gliders around somewhere, just increases the chance of being seen by them. There's the airport. Call out engine fail. So let's slow down to minimum sync. Okay, that's my best option there. That's got power lines across it. Okay, so at this point I would be trying a restart, and if that fails I would be making some form of mayday call. So we're going to go for that. It's a fairly short field actually. I don't want to actually upset the neighbours. Oh, okay. That is a complete because I picked a field and then went for another one by mistake.
Yeah, we're just
Work on this.
white vultures in the sky.
Actually, I would make that. So the lesson from that was I took my eye off the field I was going for, ended up thinking I'd picked a different field, and that then left me with the wrong field, and it was too short. And I only realised that once I was committed. I then had to lose height as I could make the threshold of the field, which I managed to do, so it worked out okay, but I increased the chances of something going wrong. So we're about 2 minutes from over farm. Over farm traffic, Golf Charlie Mike Papa November, returning from the southwest, 2 minutes to run, 1500 feet for an overhead join. Over farm traffic. So we join overhead. I know we only just took off, but the wind may have changed direction. It's also a chance to check the runway, make sure there's no dog walkers on it. Yep, people are that stupid. The wind is now very definitely easterly. Any easterly component makes the woods at the eastern side of the airfield a particular pain, because you end up with a lot of rotor off them. So it can get quite choppy, which means that the best approach is to come in slightly high, clear the buildings and get upwind of the woods and avoid too much of the choppiness. So let's see how that works for me, eh? That's the plan. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, descending crosswind 34. Over farm traffic. We've done the radio, altimeter is set. I'm not going to bother dialing off the 40 feet. Fuel is still 3/4 of a tank. That's what I'd expect. We've only been flying for 26 minutes. So we'll just turn downwind and a bit of power to level off. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, late downwind 34, over farm traffic. We're coming up to the tip. The tip is roughly the end of the final leg. So I'm looking on final. I can't see any aircraft on long final. So looking at my runway, I think I need to start turning about now in order to make it. And we'll just set a slightly lower engine setting so as we can start to descend. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, final 34, over farm traffic. So let's aim. I'm aiming for the intersection of the two runways. That should carry me nicely beyond the rotor. Okay, let's just see where we're settling out. It can get a bit rough on easterly. Right, so I'm going to try and get as close to the hangar as I can to minimise the amount of pushing I have to do with this. So the wing has got to clear the barn. So I've got a very exaggerated lowered wing position just to make sure it clears the barn, and then I'll bring it round, and then as I come round I just need to centre it back up again, pointing roughly at this angle is about right for my trolley. Okay, so we'll turn the radio off, the engine off, the accessories off, the nav lights off, stop the stopwatch. Everything is good. We will stop navigating on there and turn the tablet off. My adaptation for that worked very well. I had to modify the bracket. It seems to have worked. So what I'll do now is tie up the wing and get out and stop the camera, and that is today's flight.